Hey, so Roguelike Browser Boilerplate is a template project for making your own web browser-based online RPG game. In this series of screencasts, I'm showing you how to customize the boilerplate to make your own game. In today's screencast, I'm going to show you how to use SFXer to create your own 8-bit sounds and add them to the game and modify the ones that are already there. So let's get started. If we go to, I'm going to be using this editor at slingcode.net. So you can go to slingcode.net and click try it to get to the actual editor, and that takes you to this page. And then all I'm going to do is upload the zip file. You can get the zip file by purchasing it at the Roguelike Browser Boilerplate page on itch.io. If you search itch.io, or you can find it in the notes below this video. So I'm going to say upload the zip and double click on the Roguelike Browser Boilerplate zip. And what that does is put me straight into the editing mode with the zip file unpacked, and these are all the files here. So you've got JavaScript, CSS, HTML, etc. You can run it next to the code to see what the project looks like to begin with. And as I said, we're going to be looking at modifying the sounds. So there's a bunch of sounds in there already, like when you click the play button, you can hear that sound. When you go over, when you walk, there's a sound. When you go over the treasure chests, that's the wind sound. And when you go over the coins, there's like a coin up type of sound. When you get an empty treasure chest, it makes that kind of sound. So we can customize all these sounds, and we can add new ones too. So it's actually pretty simple. The places in the code where you can find this stuff are on line 75. There's a object called SFX, a variable, and that has the sounds defined in it. Now these sound codes here are JSFXer sound codes. If you go to sfxer.me, you can find this nice little editor, and clicking these buttons generates randomly generated sounds. Yeah, so you can make all these cool little 8-bit sounds. You can make them from scratch as well, just by using these sliders. And there's also the random one. Usually makes some interesting sounds. And you can also, if you get a sound that you sort of like, you can click mutate to change it. Yeah, so what we're going to do is, in the game here, when you click on, most things have sounds already, but if you click on the inventory button here to open and close, you'll notice there's no sound yet. So we're going to add a sound for that event. And so the first thing we need to do is get the sound that we want. So we'll go back to the sfxer.me tab, and we're going to go to blip select. I want kind of like quite a subtle one, because you open that inventory quite often, so you don't want it to be too aggressive. There we go. Yeah, that's nice. It's a bit lower, a bit softer. So all you have to do is click the copy here. What that does is copy the code for this sound into the buffer. And then over in the code here, you can say, add a new line to this SFX variable here. And we're going to call it inventory, because it's for when the inventory opens. And then you just paste in the sound. Make sure you've got the quote marks at either end of that. And then we can just save it. So Command S or Control S. And now that will, when the game boots, that'll convert the sound into a playable sound effect. If you do a search through the code for SFX, you can find all the places where it plays sounds now, and you can see that it's quite simple. So all it is the name of the sound and then play. SFX, name of sound, play. So we'll copy that little bit of code, and you can have a look through and find all the other places. Here's where it plays the step sound. And obviously you can customize these sounds too by just changing them. You can either change the step sound in the table here by putting in a new code, or you can create a new one and modify the sound that gets played. So now what we want to do is have that pop out sound play when you click the inventory button. So we're going to find the place in the code where it says inventory, and so it's this toggle inventory function that we want to find. I'm just going to keep searching through until we find toggle inventory. There we go on line 808. Yeah, so line 808, toggle inventory, and within there's a check to see whether it's clicking on an inventory item, one of these, or the actual open close button. And we really only want to play a sound when the open close button is clicked. So we're going to go into this if statement because that's where that happens. And just after the ev.prevent default, we'll insert a new line which is sfx inventory.play. So what that's going to do is look up the sound we grabbed before and we named it inventory, and it's going to play it. So let's save that. Yeah, and let's see if that's worked. Okay, it's not making a sound, but this happened to me before. I think you actually have to refresh the whole thing. So if you go to index.html and save that, it actually reloads the entire frame here. Yeah, there we go. Now we've added our open close sound to our inventory here. And that's about all there is to it. You can make different sounds for different events within the game. All you got to do is add them to this SFX table at the top and then trigger them by saying SFX sound name.play. Simple as that. All right, hope that helps you adding your own sounds to the game. Thanks very much for listening.